Hello my friends and welcome to Disney Dreamlight Valley. Today we're going to talk more about the upcoming DLC Wishblossom Ranch. There's a few articles that came out recently that actually have some new information about the DLC that we didn't know before. And a huge shout out to Justin for sending me some of these articles that we're going to take a look today. And we're going to end this video with some more speculation on what to expect and just check out what is the overall vibe of the community about the upcoming DLC. If you want to know more about Wishblossom Ranch, subscribe, because as soon as there's any new news drop, there's going to be a video on it, and let's jump right into it. So this is first article by IGN, and I'm going to use Google Translate to translate from German, and also I'm going to link all of the articles in the description if you guys want to take a look yourself. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm just going to read the information that we didn't know before. You should definitely check out my video that I made like a couple days ago about everything we know about the DLC. That video has every single bit of information we knew until today. So definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't. And here is a few other tidbits. Alright, so this is the experience of a person who got to play the demo of the DLC. From the very beginning of the demo, I was allowed to choose and name a horse. So we can name horses. I chose Maximus, inspired by Rapunzel. Now this one is a little bit confusing to me because I thought that you can choose a horse, but Maximus is like a separate. He's already like fully customized horse, and there is no way to change him or rename him. It's like a notable companion, but like notable mount. So I'm very curious if we'll actually be able to customize the horses that are made after like an actual Disney horses. So curious to see about that. But it's good to know that we can name our horses and customize them right off the bat. Mounts are fully customizable and grow with you. They level up, so they're levels. I wonder if there's going to be more like character levels or more like companion levels. How many levels are we going to have? Gain unique abilities. Now, I've heard this one before. I wish they went into more details. What kinds of abilities? My guess is that maybe you unlock different activities that you can do on a horse, like watering crops, planting crops, mining, digging. I wonder, how do you dig on a horse? Actually, I do have an answer for that. There's going to be a bit coming later explaining how digging on a horse works, which is pretty interesting. You can do almost everything you normally do on foot. I wonder, almost. What is the almost? What is going to be the limitation? Is there any activities that you cannot do on a horse? This was a significant technical challenge for the team, but they pulled it off. The mounts don't feel like a gimmick, but a fully fledged extension of a gameplay, which is really good. I was hoping that would be the case, because it's very easy to make it just not polished and just feel like it's cumbersome and not fun, even though it's on paper sounds like an amazing thing. There are ways to mess it up for sure. The world itself has been designed with these mounts in mind. New biomes, including a vast snowy area. So that's going to be the mountain biome, I'm guessing. And buildings have been adapted to fit the environment and be accessible to your horse. Everything feels logical and well thought out, as if the world is truly alive and adapts to your playing style. And this is just review of a demo, and I bet there's going to be more improvements and additions to the DLC before it comes out. So if the demo already feels like that, that's a good sign to me. I like it. Now this is the interesting part. Tinkerbell has been given a special glow to make her easier to spot. This is a direct response to feedback from players who had difficulty spotting smaller villagers like Remy. To be fair with Remy, I'm okay not spotting him ever again. I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan of, not a big fan of Remy. But yeah, Tinkerbell having a glow, that is... First of all, isn't she gonna be flying all the time? I guess having a glow is gonna help us tell her apart from butterflies and little birds, because she looks pretty small. The theme of this expansion revolves around pixie and wish magic, and this is reflected in the atmosphere, the quests, and the decorations you can unlock. Pixie and wish magic. Very interesting. Besides the villagers, there are also new animals to encounter. I encountered a goose that acts like a curious companion, and the horses that are clearly inspired by Disney films. So, Goose from the trailer seemed like a very different companion. It's like such a different direction that I actually really like it, and I cannot wait to see the idle animations and the photo pose that geese are gonna provide. What's striking is how much Gameloft has listened to the community. They regularly conduct surveys and use that input to improve the game. In Wishblossom Ranch, you see this reflected in a more extensive photo mode, but also in a social aspect. It's becoming easier to connect with other players. Now this is a jam. This is something that wasn't even hinted on in any other piece of information we've seen before. More extensive photo mode. Now what can this possibly mean? This could mean more poses. This could mean we actually finally get an ability to place villagers in certain places and force them to do certain animations, which, if I think about it, is probably the most requested feature for the camera mode at this point, to allow us easier work with villagers, to make them do what we want to do easier. So if that comes after them saying that Gameloft is listening to players' feedback, I'm guessing if that's the new photo mode feature we're gonna get in this expansion. But also, it sounds weird that like these features come with DLC. I feel like if it's camera mode improvement, it should not be a part of DLC, it should be a part of the main game. But maybe that demo included some features that are part of the main game that's going to be potentially coming in the next main game update. So I'm guessing that multiplayer and camera improvements definitely should come in a regular update, not in the DLC. But what does this mean, becoming easier to connect with other players? Since, once again, this is part of the DLC talk, the only thing I can think of is that we can finally visit players in the DLCs, and maybe it's becoming much easier. Maybe it's something else. Seems like there's going to be some additions to the multiplayer mode in the upcoming updates, which is pretty good to see. Alright, so this is one of the articles, but we have more. This is an article on the Video Game Chronicles website. This article gives a little dig towards Disney's Speedstorm and their terrible monetization decisions, which I completely agree, and this is the main reason I stopped playing Speedstorm to begin with. So this, the author of the article, their whole family is Disney fans, and they did not play, they dropped Speedstorm because of those issues, and they say one of the main reasons it's kept our attention, speaking of Dreamlight Valley, is that Dreamlight Valley is fair. The game was originally planned to be free-to-play when it left early access, but Gameloft eventually decided to scrap this idea and make it a paid title. This essentially killed the temptation to introduce any of the more predatory microtransactions methods a free-to-play game might have implemented. Speaking of that, that's exactly what happened to Disney's Speedstorm, another Gameloft game. It started as a paid game, it was amazing, it was so fun, and then they went free to play with it, and the game just got absolutely destroyed with all of these microtransactions and horrible monetizations, literally day and night from what it was when it just came out, and then what happened when it became free to play. So I feel like Disney Speedstorm was the reason, and the experience with it was the reason why they decided not to do the same with Disney Dreamlight Valley, because they did not want to repeat the same story with Speedstorm. And honestly, at this point, I'm so glad they did, because if Disney Dreamlight Valley had the same monetization tactics that Speedstorm had, the game probably would be dead already. As a result, while there is still seasonal content with the typical paid Battle Pass tier you'd expect from a live service game, there is also a steady stream of free content, which combined with a healthy helping of missions, makes it very much an Animal Crossing but with Disney characters and quests experience I was hoping it would be ever since it was first announced. So yeah, so far pretty positive review, but let's get to the actual preview of the DLC. As previously stated, professionalism is key in these situations, and so despite my family's love for Dreamlight Valley, I didn't give much more away than, yes, I'm familiar with the game, in response to a question usually asked to the press when seeing an expansion or a sequel. Okay, sneaky. It was then when I saw what was being added that the fanboy slipped out. As the name suggests, Wishblossom Ranch adds horses to the game. Animal companions have been there since the start, but they're always tended to be smaller creatures who walk alongside you. The new expansion marks the first time you can actually get rideable mounts. There's a stable where you can store a number of horses. Horse storage. Love it. And you also have the ability to customize these horses by naming them and choosing the color of their coat, mane, and the like. So multiple horses. So far I saw people saying there's one customizable horse and 3 Disney horses, but it seems like there is multiple customizable horses, which makes sense because in the trailer they were showing at least 3 customizable horses on the range. So I think that's going to be the number. We're going to get not 4 horses, but 6 horses. 3 of them Disney horses that I'm still not convinced going to be customizable, like Maximus, potentially some others that haven't been announced yet, and 3 horses that are customizable, just generic horses. You can also choose different saddles and various other cosmetic items for your horse, which obviously acts as another opportunity for Gameloft to add new items on a regular basis through in-game shops, events, battle passes, and the like. Now, this one I disagree with. I don't see them selling horse accessories in a premium shop for one simple reason. They're pointless for people who don't have DLC. However, maybe if they put it in a premium shop, people are going to be like, "Ooh, I want this on my horse, but I don't have a horse. Let's buy DLC and then buy this." I don't know. Honestly, if they have a decent amount of free options, if they bring like some super premium horse customization items for decent amount of moonstones, it wouldn't be a big idea. Maybe they'll be unlockable with whatever currency gets introduced in this update. As with other animal companions in Disney Dreamlight Valley, Wishblossom Ranch will also feature a mix of standard customizable horses and real horses from Disney movies. So once again, confirmed multiple customizable horses. The first of these will be Maximus from Tangled, but given the number of famous Disney steeds, I'd be stunned if further down the line we didn't see the likes of Philip from Beauty and the Beast, Sven from Frozen. Sven is such a good idea. It doesn't fit the horse vibe, but it could be a rideable companion. And maybe even Bullseye from Toy Story. Though given how Woody and Buzz are true to size in this game, maybe not. What if you have a tiny horse riding around? That would be cool. New characters are naturally also going to be included in Wishblossom Ranch, and I was shown the first 2 of them, Snow White and Tinkerbell. More are coming, I was assured, but Gameloft is keeping its cards close to its chest. Smart. Alright, so pumpkin farming on a horse. Let's see how that's gonna look like. From early on in the expansion, you'll be able to ride your horse, which obviously has its own benefits. Until now, running around the valley has been quite a slow affair, and the only way to speed this up is to eat special meals, which increase your energy beyond its maximum. When you have this well-fed bonus, you run a little bit faster and also use a sort of gliding sprint technique to move faster. But this decreases your energy meter and stops when the excess energy runs out. By riding your horse around the valley, you can pick up a gallop that allows you to travel around much quicker. And from what I could tell, you don't need to have extra well-fed energy to do this. This alone will save a lot of time for some players. Now, I was always wondering, how are they going to have the energy system for horses? Like, it seems like the way it's described here, you can pick up a gallop. So maybe it's something that happens if you like go in the same direction for a certain amount of time. It starts moving faster, just I feel like with a horse would. If it's not tied to energy, there has to be some restraint. So maybe once again, the gallop, as far as I know, the way it works, if you move in the same direction, you can accelerate, but then if you have to make a turn, it's going to slow down again and then accelerate. That's my guess how it's going to work. And it seems like from every source that I've seen so far, riding a horse overall is faster than gliding. So that sounds like a great thing. The developers showing me the game explained how much work had gone into making sure that riding a horse around the valley didn't feel any more clumsy or awkward than simply walking around it normally. A godsend for players who built intricately detailed valleys that may have been a struggle to navigate around with a larger character. Yeah, that's another question. If you have like tiny little paths, will the horse be able to go on it? And also, will the camera act wonky? Because our character is going to be higher above the ground on a horse. So I wonder if things like trees and houses are going to like behave differently with the camera. It's just going to have to wait and see. But so far, this is the second person to say that they really like put a lot of effort into making it feel natural and not like a gimmick, which is very reassuring. Even better, it's the extra abilities your horse can learn over time. I was shown some other abilities which are acquired later in the game. It's not yet clear if this is through leveling up the horse like you do with other companions or by acquiring them in specific quests, but the main takeaway is that your horse can eventually do more than just gallop around. One of these new abilities is stomping large dirt holes in the ground. While players can dig a standard hole, which takes up a single square of the map's invisible grid, a horse can eventually perform a stomp move, which makes a larger group of holes appear at once. So this is how you dig on a horse. You don't actually dig with your shovel, you dig with horse's legs. And now I'm wondering, is the mining going to be the same way? Do I use the horse's hooves to hit the rocks to mine them? That would be so sick. And I love how you unlock these abilities over time. I'm guessing it's going to be done through leveling. So this sounds super exciting. I'm never leaving my horse. If I can literally do everything on it, that's it. This is what made my eyes open wider. Anyone who plays Dreamlight Valley seriously knows that the easier way to make money is by farming pumpkins. A pumpkin seed, oh, I love this. Science, numbers. A pumpkin seed costs 275 coins and harvested pumpkin sells for 664. Bring a companion with gardening ability with you when you harvest them, and they'll throw extra pumpkins at you too, meaning you can make a lot extra money off that single seed. Naturally, this means greedier types such as me and myself have turned whole sections of their valley into pumpkin farms, which involves digging a bunch of holes, planting lots of seeds, watering them all, and harvesting them all. This is a very lengthy process, and on more than one evening I've literally fallen asleep on the couch with an A button held down on my Xbox as my character been planting pumpkin seeds. Wow, that's awesome. The ability to stomp multiple holes at once is a big time saver for players who are carrying out these farming schemes. But the reality is that players who regularly farm pumpkins only need to dig holes once, then keep planting seeds in them each time they harvest. So from what I've seen in a trailer, Horse also allows you to to water decent patches of pumpkins, crops as well. So hopefully it's going to be more than by hand. This is why when I was shown a horse walking through a field of crops with a watering can in its mouth, quickly watering all the plants it walked over, the mask finally slipped. Oh boy. Yeah, this is great. Watering multiple crops is quite a fiddly process in Dreamlight Valley, but this now looks like it's going to be as simple as just walking over them. Granted, you still lose energy as you usually do, but keep some food on you and it's still going to be a much faster process. That's awesome. What's clear from the half-hour demonstration I was shown is that existing fans of the game will not only be happy with the new area, the new characters, and the additions of rideable mounts, but the new quality of life features those mounts bring could really make the game a much more efficient and enjoyable experience for those who have made Dreamlight Valley part of their daily routine. So that's one of the things that I see people did not like about Storybook Vale, is that there is nothing that we can take after completing the DLC back to our regular valley to make our lives better. Eternity Isle brought us all of these ancient machines that we still use to this day regularly. Storybook Vale, once you've done the thing, sure, you could bring all the items that you can obtain from it and craft, but there is no mechanic. You're not going to be doing, for example, snippet farming once you've done the story and unlocked all the areas, there's just not much you can do with the storybook magic or with the snippets themselves, except crafting a couple things. So it's like, that's one thing that Storybook Vale lacked, is some useful mechanic to that can make your life easier in a regular game. And it seems like that's something that Wishblossom Ranch is going to bring back in terms of horses. Potentially fully leveled up could make your regular duties. What if we could break a whole rock in one horse punch once it's fully maxed? Or water an entire row just by walking over it. It sounds like it could be very interesting and useful outside of the expansion, so I'm definitely looking forward to see how it plays out. There's one more article I wanted to take a quick look at. It doesn't have any new information, but I thought it was kind of funny. It's called The Main Quest. So, of course, they had to talk about horses, and the person who wrote this article really, really passionate about horses, and they absolutely hate how the horses were done in Disney Dreamlight Valley. Front-facing predator eyes on the models, faulty bent forelegs when coming down from rearing, and a few instances of horses standing in their pastures and paddocks fully decked out for some reason. Also, this person hates that Maximus is famously taking his mannerisms from a dog. So the point that this person is making that all the horses, at least as seen in a trailer, look more like dogs than actual real-life horses, because Maximus has horses' mannerisms. The resulting stylization with front-facing eyes with tiny pupils, exaggerated brow ridges, and thick, upright necks. This does not tickle my horse, I love horses, sense in a way that other stylization might. This is honestly crazy to me. I look at these horse pictures, it looks like a horse to me. It doesn't look like realistic horse, but neither does Disney Dreamlight Valley. It's not a realistic game, so the horses, they're supposed to look cute. They're supposed to look Disney style, so they're definitely not gonna like have all the characteristics of the regular horses. If you like, the horses are creepy a little bit. Like if I've seen a horse a couple times, I never rode one, so I'm not familiar with like anatomy of the horse, and seeing something that shouldn't bending in the animation doesn't really bother me. But like, the real horses are pretty creepy if you look in their faces. They had to make them cute. They had to make them look to match the style of the game. So honestly, I don't have a problem with the way they did the horses. And if something bends that's not supposed to, I probably wouldn't know. What do you guys think? Do you think the horses, does it offend your horse expectation? Like, does it give you a weird feeling looking at these horses? I am curious. So I've been checking out the community thoughts about the DLC and theories and speculations, and one thing that I've realized is that we don't have a clue. We do have clues. There is clues that it could be Winnie the Pooh because of the Pooh fountain, but then the same logic could have applied to the broken teacups fountain in Storybook Vale, which did not come with any Alice in Wonderland characters, and we got them later. So by that logic, I feel like it's probably safe to assume that Winnie the Pooh is going to be a whole separate realm, which is not going to come with the DLC, but DLC gives us like a little hint and maybe potentially an area that could be used to later move in with the Pooh when we get him from the realm in the future update. My bet is that next main game roadmap is going to include Winnie the Pooh in one of the updates. I just feel like, for some reason, it doesn't make sense for me. I don't see Winnie the Pooh coming from this DLC, but I could be completely wrong. There is so many theories people have about who are the other two characters gonna be. There are so many theories on who the villain is going to be. There is Hans, there is Evil Queen, Ralph. People even saying Ralph, since he was a villain in the beginning of the movie. So many options. One thing I know about Gameloft and the Disney Dreamlight Valley is that they managed to bring characters that make the least sense on paper, and nobody could have ever anticipated. If you look at the previous two DLCs, the combinations of characters they have had absolutely nothing in common, had absolutely no logic behind it whatsoever. So at this point, even though it's fun to speculate, I feel like we hit a dead end with the information we have on hand right now. So until we get more hints and spoilers, which is probably going to be on October 16, until then, we will not be able to guess who it is. Unless, I mean, I bet some of us definitely already guessed. There are so many guesses, some of them are bound to be correct. But there is absolutely nothing pointing towards a specific answer, even though there are clues. Gameloft proved in the past that any clues they give could mean absolutely nothing, and they're gonna bring somebody who doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But then once you play the story, you will realize that was exactly the character that needed to be here. So I'm just gonna wait and see. But if you do have your theories of who are going to be the remaining characters and remaining horses, please leave them in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. Huge thanks to all of our awesome supporters, guys. This DLC is shaping up to be absolutely stunning. Even if you're not a fan of horses, there's just so much this DLC has to offer. I was very scared when Storybook Vale came out and had all of this overwhelming positive reception of how it looks and aesthetic of it. I was worried that the next DLC might be in trouble because there is no way they're gonna beat it. But instead of beating it aesthetically, I think they went completely different direction and introduced some of the most wanted mechanics by lots of players, which I think overall might give this DLC a chance to be even more popular than Storybook Vale. Though those Mythopia yellow grass and bushes, those are going to be hard to beat. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later, and take care.
Oh, nice day we're having, isn't it?
Oh, it's wonderful. Woohoo!
Amazing. Gotta tell you, it is really beautiful here. Hey, nice to see you.
Oh, hello.
Are you seeing this?
Oh,